Hey, what's up guys? Sonny Lee here, and today I have a bit of a story to tell. Plus some tips on how not to be scammed on online shopping. Let's get to it. Now this story is a bit difficult for me to tell. Sometimes I just wish it didn't happen at all, and I just want to forget about it really. But I think this story can really help expose these scammers and possibly save you from having the same fate as me. Now for story time. On June 4th, 2020, I had seen all the iPad Pro reviews plus Magic Keyboard reviews, and I was so decided on getting it. The problem was it would only be available 2 months later, around August 2020, which is last month by the time of this recording. But I wasn't willing to wait 2 months, so I was finding different ways online on getting it. So as explained in my previous video, linked over here, that was my story and what was my process on looking for the iPad Pro before the official launch date. Obviously, as part of that process, I was checking online sellers like Lazada and Shopee. I wasn't able to find anything on Shopee, but on Lazada, I found a few listings, most notably this one. The price was low, but not unrealistically so. I was somewhat skeptical, but at the same time, I was so used to seeing these good deals online, like these sellers from China and all over the world, and you never know what you're gonna find really. And you'll also think that it's 2020, so you know, probably all these online sellers, like all these e-commerce websites would be really good now and you can trust them and everything. Probably no one gets scammed anymore because I've had quite a lot of success with online shopping. You'd also think online shopping is safe now and all, and so I gave it a shot and I was so wrong. Now on that listing, I tried to ask some questions to the seller via the Lazada app, but the seller was not responding. So I saw a phone number at the bottom of the listing which says contact via Viber, this phone number. So I did. And I think that's where my mistake began, because when I contacted that number, it was somewhat responsive. This was when I asked a few questions to the seller to check if they're really legit. But also I had an idea that if I do the transaction outside of Lazada, possibly we could work out a bit more of a discount. Maybe we could arrive at a lower price. The number was a Philippine number, but obviously with Viber, the scammer could be anywhere in the world really. He communicated with English only. I asked a few questions if they were legit. He was able to answer my questions very casually and briefly with a few photos. It almost seemed as if they're busy with many clients and they had sort of that vibe, that acting vibe going on. But it was relatively convincing. After a few hours of gathering info, it seemed relatively legit. And also he gave a discounted price, a small discount. The acting was definitely on point. Or maybe I just had a lot of faith in humanity. He then asked to deposit the amount to a Union Bank account under the name Ryan J. Andam Velasquez, and I made the deposit amount of 27,320 Philippine pesos. So after a while, I think it was overnight, he asked for even more money. He asked for supposedly some shipping amount, which was 20,150 pesos. And at that point, at that moment, that's when I realized it was a huge scam. And I started trolling him at this point just to see what happens, because I knew I wouldn't be getting that 27k back. I think it was another night, and then he started to ask for another amount, which was supposedly for customs. So the previous amount, the 20,150 pesos, was supposedly for FedEx shipping, and the third amount, the 55,250 pesos, is supposed to be for customs. And this was the point when I was like, I'm done. I'm not gonna get it back. I'm not even gonna try. This is ridiculous. And funny story is that I tried to report this incident to Lazada. However, I needed an order number, which I didn't have because, again, I did the transaction outside of Lazada's. Which brings us to my lessons learned, and as well as some tips on making online purchases on Lazada or maybe other online sellers. So lesson learned here guys, do not communicate with online sellers outside the official apps. But to be honest, I think even if I did the transaction on Lazada, I doubt their support will do anything about it, because I've had a few issues on Lazada before and they sort of seem to just brush it off. In my experience, Shopee is a bit more reliable and a bit more secure. Anyway, here are 7 tips to know when making big purchases on Lazada or Shopee. And this is also shared in the link down below. And these are official tips from Lazada. Tip number 1, do not share your personal information at all. Be it your phone number, email address, especially your credit card information, don't do it, because Lazada will never ask for those information from you because it already has it. Tip number 2, do not pay outside of Lazada. So if you pay outside of Lazada, Lazada has no control over those transactions. Basically, if you do it outside and the seller doesn't fulfill those orders, you're sort of stuck. Tip number 3, do not accept payment instructions through chat. Obviously, Lazada has their own payment system going on. It's integrated with their ordering system, so if you have any issues, you can possibly refund. Lazada can basically manage it. Tip number 4, beware of Lazada imposters. So again, a seller can be an imposter, or basically anyone, any scammer. They can be an imposter. They can send you text messages with an unknown number, and then they can ask for your personal information. When someone sends you an SMS, make sure the phone number is not a phone number. It says Lazada or something. Tip number 5, do not let the sellers make the purchase on your behalf. Probably there have been stories wherein the seller would access the buyer's account and then make the purchase with their account, supposedly like assisting them to make the purchase, and you do not want to do that. You need to make the purchase yourself. If you don't know how to make a purchase, maybe if you're not very good with technology, you can ask someone you trust to make the purchase for you. But even with that, it's a bit of a stretch. So make sure to try to make the purchase yourself. And tip number 6, beware of fraud websites. You need to check the address bar if it's the official Lazada website, just to be sure you're not making a purchase or sending your credentials to some unknown phishing website. The websites may look exactly like Lazada, but to be sure, you really need to check the URL in the address bar. And for the last tip, tip number 7, be sure to report any scams you find to Lazada. The link will be in the description. And so there you have it. Online shopping now may seem really safe with all these different purchases you may do on Shopee and Lazada, and especially now during quarantine, people are home, stuck at home, just ordering online most. There will still be scams, but I'm sure Lazada and Shopee are working towards a safer shopping experience every day. Just be sure to follow these steps and remain vigilant so you don't end up 27,000 pesos short like me. You know, that 4K TV that costs like probably 15,000 pesos might seem really enticing, but you really need to do your homework and be also a bit skeptical and vigilant. As I mentioned, this is your best bet in being safe when shopping online. And as always, I hope this video helps you a lot in saving money from these different online scams. Definitely, it's super rampant now because people are just home and online shopping is probably at an all-time high, and that's it. As always, if you liked the video or you found it informative, please like the video, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in that next video. Thanks for watching. I lost the money, guys. So what? Just make it all back. Maybe I should start acting. What do you guys think? Hit that like and tell me if I should start acting. Yeah, I actually cried a bit there. Smash that like button. I miss doing this step. It's been a long time since I made a new video, and I don't know, it feels refreshing. Sponsored by Uniqlo, Sapima Cotton Tea. Peace.